Now, I wanted to ask what advice you would give from an EITI perspective to resource-rich democracies such as here in Botswana on issues of transparency. What would your key message be?
I think they need to think about the speed of exploitation of their natural resources. Many of the countries have an idea about what their resources are, how finite they are. There are predictions about how long they might last, and policies need to be adapted to this particular information, including the setting up of futures funds, so sovereign wealth funds. There are modalities of managing such funds. There are international principles by which countries can draw to set up and manage such funds. And I would urge countries that are faced with the exhaustion of their natural resources to think in that direction, as Botswana indeed is doing with the setting up of they call it Pula fund in this country.
Is this an area that you would like to see the international development community more involved in?
I would like to see the involvement of donors in the establishment of geological surveys of countries, so that the countries, the governments, are enabled to negotiate for licensing and production contracts from a position of strength, rather than having just a bare piece of land and say, well, I give you a license. So they can't negotiate a good price for such a license to explore unless they already know a little bit what is under the ground. And I would, from my little experience in the extractive sector now, would like to see geological surveys be undertaken. They're very expensive, and I think the donor community would have the funds and would have the technical expertise to put geological maps or geological surveys at the disposal of the resource-rich countries, resource-rich but economically poor countries in particular, so that they can negotiate out of a position of strength. And then negotiation support, I think, is another area that could be very beneficial. But there, even the countries have to jump over their own shadows a bit, the donor countries, because they would lend negotiation support, perhaps to a government that negotiates with a country, with a company inside of the donor country. So it is a bit a potential conflict of interest there, but I think its development assistance is for the benefit of the developing countries, and that should not be a hindrance.
So it's about transparency, it's about accountability, and it's about empowerment as well.
Exactly.